to let her.
Yeah, I'm back, straight facts, in my bag, straight facts, came to bring the hits, nigga, straight facts, tryna hit the falls list, nigga, straight, yeah, I'm back, straight facts, in my bag, straight facts, came to bring the hits, nigga, straight facts.
Oh man, and we're back with another episode of the Flagrant 2 with X and Lou. I am Lou, that is X, and we want to thank you guys for tuning in every single week. If you haven't already, please like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can be tuned in to all of our newest episodes. X, man, how was your vacation, bro?
Oh, it was fantastic. I did not get to see the Warriors play. They were in.
It was in Golden State. Yeah, it was in San Francisco.
I'm just saying, you kept saying that.
I know. I kept saying it, and it's funny because that last episode it dawned on me. I'm like, there's no way he can see them play anything. They're in Cali, like that's bad funny.
Yeah,
that's bad funny. But no, you had a good time though.
A fantastic time, but I missed you, buddy.
I missed you too, bro. I mean, it wasn't the same vibe. I mean, T Tom held it down. Shout out to T Tom and his Nixon ish. I think his show aired last night. If not, then tonight. So whoever's watching, please make sure y'all go hit up T Tom, man, and give his show some love.
yeah, I like that. Anyways, that's a fantastic show, man. He got a voice for this, man.
Yeah. I mean, we're gonna get him on a couple of episodes. Shout out to EG. He was supposed to be on the last episode too, but
that'd have been funny.
He dubbed me, so he dubbed my phone call. That's cool. It's mad funny because he said, "Yo, I got you." Whatever. We coordinating times and everything, and then he's like, "Yeah, never mind." It's cool. I still love my bro. That's my bro. But anyways, last night the Nuggets and the Clippers, they tied it up. The Clippers was down 3-2. They went back to LA, tied it up 3-3. This series is dragging on. It feels like two of the losses that the Clippers had were the Clippers' fault.
Mm-hmm.
He agrees.
But also, oh shit. But also, it could easily just be over. The Denver could have won this already. That's the crazy part about it.
Yeah, I felt like it's a lot of self-inflicted injuries on both halves.
Both sides. And that's what's making this a fantastic series because they got self-inflicted injuries, but then they got domination on either side because you see Kawhi Leonard and James Harden going crazy. We had a Jamal Murray game. And I done told you, if Jamal Murray shows up, he's the true X factor because sometimes he's here, sometimes he's not. And it's just like when he looks like Jamal Murray, the 40-point, the bubble Murray, it's like, what can you do with this guy?
Nothing.
Jokic had the smallest triple-double he had all season. Because he scored 40. Thank goodness. Show up one more time for the guys.
Yeah, it was a good game last night. It was a good game. I mean, I still got Clippers winning this series, but I think going back to Denver is gonna be a tall task for them. They're gonna need to limit their turnovers. They're gonna need they're gonna need a vintage Kawhi game. The offense got to go through Kawhi, and Denver on the other hand, they just gotta limit Westbrook's blunders. He had like 2 missed dunks yesterday. One was on a fast break, and I was like, "How? Like, did you just rush it? Did you just try to do it too hard? Trying to be like the guy? Like,
it happens. This is basketball. This is why we play. We got to realize Aaron Gordon, 2-time dunk champion in my book.
Yeah.
He misses a dunk in the clutch, wide open himself. happens. This is basketball. This is why we play. We're here. We're human. We make mistakes. But there's no mistaking the fact that Westbrook goes out there and gives it his all. At the end of the day, I think he's been solid throughout this whole series, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at his numbers, he's been making his 3-point shots. He's been doing good stuff. It's just literally it just all bubbles down to the entire team making those mistakes that they normally make, which they're cleaning up in the playoffs. Usually, you get to the playoffs, you get tired of even some of the mistakes you make with lessen. But we still got Michael Porter Jr. He's blowing rotations, not paying attention to what's going on. But guess what? He's still knocking down shots with people in his face because that's just what he does. Like, you know what I mean? So he's still doing what he's doing during the regular season, but this is playoff basketball. We need you to tighten up. Westbrook, we need you to tighten up. Jamal Murray, we need you to show up. You need a coach for Denver. Jokic can't do it all.
He can't. But there's a lot of role players that are not role playing on that team, but they don't really have a bench.
But that's the thing. These are still, at the end of the day, young role players. When you look at the Clippers, all their role players are older role players.
True.
Think about it.
True.
Think about it. Even the guy who ain't get no burn, Terrence Mann, that you was talking about.
That is true.
It's still older than these guys. So it's just like you want them to show up, and it's like, all right, they learned behind certain people already, and it's just like they should be ready. Peyton Watson, no. But Christian Braun, you would think like, all right, cool, KCP. Come on, bro. You still can't replicate what he did because you're not him.
Yeah.
But you could do the best that you could do, and it's just playoff time. You're not really being an elite role player. You're doing your role though.
Yeah, they're missing a lot of pieces, but you're right though. I mean, it's still the NBA. Role players still got to role play. They still got to facilitate, get their roles intact, and the other stars have to show up. The Aaron Gordons. I mean, Aaron Gordon's been pretty consistent. It's been Murray that's been kind of up and down, but when he's up, I mean, they win. When he's down, it's close, and that's what you wanted. But I still think the Clippers, outside of that overtime game, it should have never went to overtime. The Aaron Gordon dunk was questionable.
Questionable. That thing was good.
It was questionable. Nah, I don't know.
Good.
I don't know.
Good for basketball too. It was good.
I mean, it's good for basketball, but it's bad for the players. I mean, it's questionable.
Nah, that was good. That was
questionable.
He got the ball out of his hand, and then on top of that, let's keep it a stat. How many times have we stopped the play to look at a dunk going through in the last second of the game? Even the last second of the shot clock, because that was a regular shot clock. All right, whatever, let it go. At the end of the game, off the tippy toes of his fingers for the win.
It's tough. That's a tough loss, man. That's a tough loss. It's a tough loss
because it should have been going to overtime.
Shot. Like all you had to do was box out.
Ball. It was a bad miss too.
All you had to do was box out, bro. That's all you had to do.
Well, who was gonna box out? The biggest player who boxes out on that team was guarding Jokic.
I'm just saying, all you got to do is box out.
Yeah,
it was a friendly. I can't even say it was a friendly bounce because it was literally an air ball, but.
It was a friendly flight.
It's just crazy, man. It's crazy. That was one of the crazier endings that I've seen in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But we're gonna get to another crazy ending in a second. Rockets and Warriors. Warriors was getting spanked, man. The starters. Hurst should have just played the entire bench the entire second half because they came to play.
Look. We can't talk about one game with some old folks. We are technically the retirement home. Our big three's old.
I get you, bro.
And I know it's playoffs.
You gotta come play, man. It's playoffs, man. It's a closeout game.
And it's just they came out hot. The
Rockets did come out hot,
bro.
They did. They came out.
What do you want?
And it was home, so they had there's a little bit more incentive, a little more extra we're home. Let's, So I'm not mad at that.
On our home floor.
Yeah, but the Warriors still, I mean, it's a closeout game. I was expecting them to close out, to out execute. It just is what it is. But I mean, they play tonight. Hopefully there won't be a game 7. I am pulling for the Warriors. But I don't know if the Rockets played the way that they played last game, and you got a guy in Dylan Brooks holding back Amen Thompson. I don't know what the Warriors can do.
Hey, look, I ain't gonna lie. When I saw that play, I was sitting here like, why is he jumping in Gary Payton's face? Gary Payton ain't do nothing to nobody.
Right?
Absolutely nothing. I'm
right. Gary Payton was catching straight for Draymond.
I swear to God, like he was just mad at the whole a man was just mad at the whole team because of Draymond. And it's just like, no, don't get mad at the whole team. You get mad at the one player.
Get mad at that one guy, bro.
You can use it as motivation, but don't jump into other people's face.
Come on, man.
Nothing. But I want to give a shout out. You know, I've been for my twins.
Nah, the Thompson twins. Yeah, Thompson twins.
For my twins.
Yeah.
Even on the Detroit side, same night they had like 20 points each. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was just like, I told y'all boys, man. They is gonna be the future, man, of basketball. Not just basketball in totality, but that archetype of player.
Yeah.
They are who they are, and they're really them. But
I like both I like where they're at too.
Yeah, but as far as this Warriors Rockies game, I expected a game like this. At least one of these games is gonna happen. We seen what happened the last time they was in Houston during the regular season after a grueling like 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
On a regular season, damn near the end of the season, where Steph Curry had 3 points against one of the better defenders in the league. You telling me after a grueling 5 games, and then the last game is after 1 day?
Yeah,
I expected the game like this, and this is exactly why Kerr did not play them boys in the fourth like at all. They just took them out, waved the white flag, and said, "Yo, the young boys, if y'all get it close, y'all gonna close it out. If y'all win it, hey, we'll take it."
Right? Yeah, but I need my starters rested. Yeah.
So
it's like it's a double-edged sword because it's like you want your guys to be rested for the next game, but had they won this, it also would have kind of had them rested for the next series too. And they get extra rest anyway because the second round is probably not going to start until Monday.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, you got to think about it like this. If you're running a marathon and you get to that 3rd lap and that 4th lap, I think it's like 4.5, that makes a mile, and you get on that 3rd lap and you start sprinting, like, all right, cool, I could shave some time off. You start sprinting. Oh, that last lap is going to be hell.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, if you would have put them in and they would have really tried to win that could have took more wind out of them and made it harder for the next game.
I agree, but I also agree that being home tonight, they I mean, it's nothing like being home. It's not like going home, sleeping in your own bed. Seeing the wife and the kids,
getting that wife's cooking,
up and stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's nothing like going home and having a, you cooking up at home just to go in the stadium and cook up. It's always better in the playoffs when you're going home, especially for the fact that this is damn near cross country. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's but shout out to the Warriors.
Yeah. Definitely.
Warriors Rockets tonight.
One thing, I said about this series was they needed to start pulling at Curry's hand left and right. Nobody been pulling at his hand. I done told you Rockets how to win this series. You see Steph's hand, you hit Steph's hand. Nobody been hitting Steph's hand. The only person who's been trying to put hands on people was at the Pacers game. No, was at the Pacers game. That's the only one who was trying to put hands on people. Milwaukee.
It's a little bit too late for Giannis to.
Giannis, that's the only person trying to put hands on people.
It's a little too late. Now, I mean, this series is heartbreaking on 2 levels. It's heartbreaking because you lose Dame Lillard, if not for a full season, maybe forever. You know what I'm saying? We don't know how. I mean, we would hope that Dame takes the season off, gets himself right, recovers from this, and gives it at least one more season. But I mean, you never know. I mean, he's already in his 30s. I mean, he's still chasing that ring. It might just be elusive because Giannis might be out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's tough, man. I feel for the Bucks, but this isn't on the players. As I said last episode, you wasn't here. I was talking with well, I mean, me and you have been saying it all year long, but it's really on Doc. Doc does not know how to. Doc is the biggest thief in the entire coaching NBA landscape. He doesn't know how to adjust. That not one adjustment was made. When you guys made a run and they started chipping at it, you didn't make an adjustment. When you guys are down and it's not working, you didn't make an adjustment. When you should call a timeout, you let the guys play. When you let the guys play, you call a timeout. Like what are we doing? There's never been adjustments. There's never been clear, concise plays out of timeouts or out of inbounds on dead balls.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing going on. It's I'm gonna let my star player work and hope for the best, and that's not basketball.
Yeah, that's a fact. You know, when I knew and I had a problem with how Doc was gonna run this team, obviously during the regular season, but during the playoffs, I saw one play. You know, Damian Lillard brings the ball up. They run a little action. You got Dame, Giannis, Kyle Kuzma on the court. This is supposed to be year 3 that you're maining, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they ran a play for Taurean Prince. Prince caught the ball at the top of the key. He was open. He was damn near open enough where, you know, if he was a star, you was Steph Curry, he was letting that fly.
He ain't let it fly.
He ain't let it fly. But then I really sat there and thought about it. I said, Doc, you have Damian Lillard on the floor. You have Kyle Kuzma on the floor. You have Giannis on the floor. Even if you was going to run that play and it wasn't going to involve Giannis, why wouldn't Dame be the one coming off that screen trying to get open for a 3? You could even have Kyle Kuzma who could rip through off of that screen if the defender closes out to him and get to a strength of his. But you got Taurean Prince, a known role player who everybody in the Lakers land hates because Darvin Ham played him a little too much. But Darvin Ham's on that bench, so he's running plays for Taurean Prince. I knew it was over. Done for. And I'm just sitting here like, man. And that was the first thing I thought, like, why is Dame passing the ball to him for that shit? It just blew my mind.
That's tough. Look, man, I don't know what the Bucks' plans are moving forward, but Giannis, don't come to New York, please. Go to Brooklyn. I just feel like if we try to go get him, we're just gonna be giving way too much up for him, and we already gave way too much up to get Cat. So I don't want to give too much up, but if we could get him on the cheap, you know what I'm saying? I'll take Giannis, but not at the detriment of.
I feel you. Just like how I felt about the Warriors and
Jimmy
Butler.
Yeah. On the flip side of that, the Cavs, they swept the Heat. I mean, we kind of saw that coming. I didn't think that it was going to be a series. I valiant effort. I guess I don't know, man. But now we have Pacers and Cavs, round 1. Round 2, and what's this? I think Monday they play or Sunday.
Yeah, I don't know. They play soon. And anyway, this one here, bro, I think it's more Cavs dominance. I think it's gonna be 5, right? I'm gonna give it 5 because I think the Pacers have what it takes, a team. And it's just like what you were saying, you was talking about with the last episode with Tea Time and stuff. I'm just like, I agree with you. Indiana Pacers is a good team. They're a well-oiled machine. Do they have a transcendent superstar? You know what I mean? Transcendent.
They don't have a superstar.
No.
They have a star in Halliburton.
But they have a star. They have an all-star. They have a team that molds around him perfectly, that truly encapsulate basketball.
Yeah.
And then when we encapsulate a faster pace of basketball as well as execution in that way.
They're the baby sons.
And then you have another team in the Cavs who encapsulate basketball in itself, but in their own way.
Yeah.
When you watch them, it's just not like a one-on-one thing. It's a team moving and flowing. You got your Ty Jerome. Shout out, he was a Warrior, so that's the reason why I know him. But he came out of nowhere in a way that you wouldn't expect. Because what I seen from him, he would just, it's a Warrior thing. You fall into the system, but this allowed him to be him. And that's their eighth man off the bench. Well, they're sixth man, but that's their sixth to eighth spot. And he's giving numbers. He's doing fantastic. So it's like, who does the Pacers have to keep up with something like that? That this whole team is just a better full team than the Indiana Pacers. I think the Indiana Pacers is a fantastic squad. They can at least get one game. They're not getting swept. But
they're not getting swept.
I think I'll give them 2 games.
I think it's gonna be 6 games. I think it's gonna be a 6-game series.
I can see that.
I think that the Cavs just have a little bit more firepower. I think that the X factor for the Pacers is their transition offense and transition defense. That's where they thrive at. That's their biggest strength, but it's also their biggest weakness, because once the game slows down, once it's a half-court game, once it's we're gonna play at a slow pace, the Cavs, they're not a team that's gonna get out and running. They're a team that's more in the half court. A lot of their sets are predicated in the half court. They have 2 fantastic bigs at the 5 and the 4 that they want to get involved. You can't get your bigs involved if you're running up and down the court. It's not what that's not the Cavs game plan.
But that's the thing. This is what I'm saying about the Cavs being so deep. There's a point in this game where it's just like, yes, they have a fantastic 4 and 5.
Yeah, but they could.
4 is a defensive player of the year, and they have one of those teams where you could just move Mobley to the 5, and you could put in a person who's faster. When Mobley gets tired, you put Josh Allen back in, and you still could move faster. You have a good depth in that team where you could keep up with these guys in a way.
I agree.
Can also limit what they do, and that's why I sit here and say 5 games, because it's going to be one of those games where it's just like the Pacers is going to outpace them, and just put them on their heels, and they just gonna be like, "Damn, all right, cool, y'all played a fantastic game. Now we got something for that."
I think that is the beauty with Cleveland, because they can match up if it comes to a running game. But the thing is, it's like also where I say that the Pacers, that's their strength. You don't want to play into a team's strengths. Like even if you could match them, you don't want to play into that team's strengths, because if I'm playing into your strengths, right, you're giving me more fuel to my strength.
But
whereas if the Cavs, I think that the Cavs can run with them. I just think that the Cavs will try to slow it down. If they can't, then that's the beauty of having a good coach that knows how to make adjustments, that knows how to, all right, this is not working. We can't do this. We need to do this. That's the beauty. And Cleveland, arguably head coach of the year, arguably, God damn it. There it goes again. God damn. No, it was my camera. Nah, but yeah, I think that's the beauty of having a really good coach that knows how to make the adjustments. That's what it's really going to come down to. The X factors are going to be the coaches in this series. It's going to be who's going to adjust, and how does that adjustment better your team more than the other team. And I think because the Pacers have a really good head coach too, and he's made adjustments. The adjustments that they made last playoffs when they beat us, when they beat the Knicks.
Yeah.
He made those adjustments. We was gonna win that series. There was a lot of injuries that happened. I'm not gonna harp on what was or what wasn't, because at the end of the day, your best ability is your availability. And if you're injured, you're injured. There's nothing we can do about it. The next man up. And that saying, he still made the adjustments to beat the Knicks. He made more adjustments than Tibbs did. Tibbs could only make so much because of injuries and stuff. So I think it's gonna be a good series. But I don't want to say 5. I want to say 6. Comfortably 5 is gonna be a thug out. But I say 6. I say the first 2 games at home. I think Pacers take their 2 games at home, and then I think the Cavs take the next 2.
Yeah, but yeah, I agree. I can agree with you. And what I was saying, during while you was talking, I was thinking, I am listening. I don't just ignore people. But when you was talking about, making those adjustments to the coaches and everything, and the strengths and weaknesses of everything, and I didn't mean like the Cavs is going to completely alter what they're going to do. I think the Cavs' strength is going to be something that the Pacers have to adjust to.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And when the Pacers get into their runs and get into whatever they're doing, I meant, like, just like you said, it comes down to the coaches. The coach has the ability during the time of the Pacers runs to switch what he's doing, to slow that down, maybe find a different adjustment, and then get back to their strengths. I didn't mean like the entire game. They're gonna be like, you know what? Let's just switch our entire strategy, negate everything we got us 60 wins this year, and do what the Pacers do. No, we're not gonna be the Pacers. We're gonna be the Cavaliers.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Cavaliers is dominant basketball, so that's the reason why I'm saying here, like, there's gonna be a game in this series where the Pacers just gonna absolutely outpace them.
Yeah, pun intended.
But it's just not gonna be. I think it's gonna be 5 games. It couldn't go 6, but I think it's 5.
I'm not mad at that. I want to give the Pacers a little bit of credit. But I mean, yeah, Cavs have been the best team in the East the entire season. They've looked like the better team against any team that they played. Even in their losses, they still look like the better team. They just, I mean, it's any given day. You could lose in the NBA, man. You're playing an NBA team. So, yeah, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all. So we both got the Cavs. You got them in 5. I got them in 6. The next series in the East, Knicks and Celtics. That game is on Monday. The Cavs and Pacers game is on Sunday. First of all, shout out to the Pistons. I want to say shout out to the Pistons, man. Y'all gave it a valiant effort. Y'all took this 6 games. I thought we was gonna do it in 5. That 5th game, y'all was like, nah, I don't want to go home. I'm not ready. Y'all did what y'all had to do. Even game 6, it still came down to the wire. It could have went to overtime. If it wasn't for heroics of Brunson with
Captain Clutch himself, man,
with 10 seconds left on the clock against Azir Thompson, one of the better defenders in the league.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry. I don't know why I said this here.
You can't pronounce it.
But it's tough, man. And I said it coming into the players. I think I've been the only Knicks fan that's been realistic in playing the Pistons. The Pistons are a really good team. They're a really good up-and-coming team. They need to learn how to lose. And in my opinion, in my estimation, I think they took that step this year.
Yeah.
I think that they're over the hump that I think that the Rockets are trying to get to, that OKC has already got to. Pistons are going to be a threat, a viable threat next year. They're going to be one of the top 4, top 5 teams in the East next year. I mean, there was one of the top 5 teams in the East this year. But I think that they've taken that next step. They're hungry. They want more. Cade is becoming that superstar. He's not that superstar yet. He's becoming that. Asar has stepped up. You got role players in Jalen Reed and and what's his face?
Tobias Harris,
Tobias Harris. Yeah, you got
Jalen.
all these role players that have bought into this, to their culture, that they want to have this physical brand of basketball. The bad boy Pistons are back. That's their brand. That's what they want to be branded as. And I think that
I still want to do it, but
I mean, it's not. I don't think anybody could be the bad boy Pistons, but that's what they've embraced mentally. So I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad. I think that every team needs an identity, and that's theirs, and they're embracing it.
Nah, that's a fact. This is definitely Love the D. This is definitely what Love the D Pistons. They're not bad boy Pistons. They could be Detroit versus everybody. A new era. Take that one with you.
I'm a mad.
But the Pistons, fantastic. This is a season where they have absolutely nothing that they left. You know what I mean? That everything that happened this season is exactly what they needed. Detroit basketball is back. Detroit City is back as far as sports go. And come on, the whole team is fantastic. They just need to get it together. And like you said, they got to learn how to win by losing. And I think next season Cade's going to be even better, because as we've seen in this series, what it came down to was him for having a go-to shot, which he clearly has not gotten yet. He's just bigger, stronger than people. So you get in transition, he can make certain shots over people, but it's just like he still doesn't have one of those go-to moves where you're just sitting here like, okay, I know what Chris Paul is going to snake around the screen. I know Jalen Brunson is going to play his little mid-range game and do things like that. I know Steph Curry, he's going to come off that screen. If you're not high enough, he's shooting that three. We saw in this game, Detroit, Cade coming off the screen kind of hesitant. We clearly ain't seen any like go-to moves. He's fantastic in the mid-range, but just like he just certain ways to get to that he wasn't doing. And so it's just like these are things that he's gonna work through this season. They're gonna watch tape. They're gonna, we're gonna be on him about that. I'm sure he's gonna watch ESPN. He's not. If he watches this channel, he's gonna hand me. You need to work on that move. So it's just like he just got to figure that out, because that's just really what it comes down to with all of these games, crunch time. And it's just like you got to have something you go to, because y'all going to be in games like this. If y'all playing the way y'all play, you're going to be in games like this often. It's either you're going to demoralize the team and absolutely beat them, or the game is going to be close. Those are your ins and outs of the game. It's not going to be a comfortable victory for y'all. We are getting settings like this. So you got to learn how to execute. And shout out to Malik Beasley, man. He was everything they needed Tim Hardaway to be all the time. Tim Hardaway's still good. But, I want to give a shout out to Malik Beasley. People don't say people's names enough, man. Saw Thompson, my guy. You already know.
I saw it. That's my guy. That I do agree. I think he was finding. That's the thing with like younger players, especially when you're trying to ascend to that level, when you're trying to get from star to all-star to superstar, when you're trying to get there, you gotta go through the growing pains.
Yeah. And
Cade, this entire series was his growing pains, and he was still trying to figure out, where am I gonna get to on the floor where I'm comfortable enough to rise up and hit that knockdown shot. And it came in that mid-range, and he was hitting it consistently. But it's like when you're down, you kind of go away from that. And good teams don't go away from what's working. And that's what Cade is going to have to figure out. Like I can't settle for a three because we're down. I got to get to my spot. I got to get to where I'm most comfortable at, where I know it's a high percentage shot, and I'm gonna knock it down.
Yeah.
And then we're just gonna get back on defense and try to get a stop. That's what you got to do. So yeah, this series was a lot of growing pains. Like I said, shout out to the Pistons. I truly feel I was the only Knicks fan I know personally that took the Pistons serious.
Yeah, you got some respect on their name.
Man. A lot of bro. I'm in the community, and everybody, we're gonna smoke them. We're gonna sweep them. I'm like, we're not gonna sweep them. Oh, we're gonna win in 5 games. We're not gonna win in 5 the way we're playing. There was times when they put us in very precarious situations where they forced turnovers, timely turnovers. They forced us into deep into shot clocks to force up shots. I mean, game 5? If it wasn't for OG hitting that last second 3, I mean, it probably we would have lost by like 5. I think that game. We ended up losing by like 1 or 2 or something like that. But I mean, Pistons are they're legit, man, and I think that they're better than the Pacers currently.
I think they're definitely, just because they have that guy who you really had true faith in, first time All-Star.
Yeah, because I have faith in Cade. I don't have that faith that I have in Cade and Halliburton.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I just want to give a shout out also too for Jalen Duren, man. I'm just glad. It's like it's a blessing. This guy's beef stew got hurt. Jalen Duren got more play time. It just gave him more experience, because that's the guy that I feel like is their center of the future. So I'm glad that he actually got some play time.
Yeah, he stepped up big. Man. Yeah, he stepped up big. Reed stepped up. A lot of their role players really stepped up. Yeah. I mean, you gotta. Schroeder was the most dangerous.
Schroeder was man.
He was the most dangerous boy on the court, boy.
Competing, bro. He was all in Brunson, all in his jersey.
Yeah, so. It was crazy because they was like, it's either Thompson or Schroeder. These are the guys I want on Brunson. And you seen how it affected him game 5. I mean, he didn't even get to start getting going, because usually he has a good first, kind of chills for second and third, and then turns up for the fourth. He didn't do none of that in game 5. We was waiting for him to show up in game 5, and they blocked him out. Luckily they did more. They had more actions, more screens, more having him off ball and half court sets to get into actions, to wrap arounds and stuff, to get him the ball, free him up, get him a little bit more space. But even still, Pistons made it incredibly difficult for Brunson.
I know. Yeah,
on the flip side,
who? The Magic?
Celtics and Magic, man. Celtics and Magic.
No, I go ahead.
No, because I was just gonna say I'm glad we didn't make the bet. I'm glad we didn't make the bet. But nah, man. Shout out to the Celtics. Shout out to the Magic. Magic gave them a good run. There was times where there was good runs where I thought that the Magic was gonna pull it out. Even the last game, the game 5 where they lost. I mean, they was in position to win the game.
Yeah.
And then everything just fell apart.
It's
a combination of different things, but they need a scorer and a defender that can be next to Franz and Paulo. Yeah. They have to get a third person in there in the mix with them, because they need a point guard that can facilitate and get these guys going in half court sets. They just don't. They don't have the firepower. They have the defense. They don't have the firepower to go up against Celtics or even the Knicks and Cleveland.
Yeah,
it sucks. But
it does, because you got to think about it. Franz, I'm gonna start with Franz. Franz, fantastic player, and I told you he'll have the ball in his hand most of the time, but it's closer in the game. He did that.
Yeah,
and they'll win. Stop shooting 3 so much, bro. I understand. You gotta make it. You gotta make it viable. Make them think you're gonna shoot this 3. But bro, you've been air balls. You've been shooting the thing terribly. And I understand. Going this off season, work on that better, because you fell off this season. You was fantastic last season. This year now.
Yeah.
So you should figure out a way to cater more to the game that was working for you. And it's just like we said, and like we've been saying all season, they need a guard who can facilitate the ball, who can score, who can get these guys the ball in their spots. Because the Magic is really built like the Celtics in a way.
They are.
But it's just their skill sets are different, where you have to figure out that you gotta understand the Celtics could have that one spot be Drew Holiday.
Yep.
And just have him out there. Even Derek White ain't out there who ain't gonna, you know what I mean? But you have two guys who could do their thing, facilitate the ball. But you have Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum who can have the ball in their hands and get to their own spots and do what they gotta do.
Yeah, and I don't think Franz is there
yet. Yeah, and that's the problem with this team, the Magic, is Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum can hit that three consistently enough.
Yeah.
When it comes to Paolo and Franz, they're not hitting no threes consistent enough for them to have the same exact formula. So you have to have a guard instead of having two guards who's like a Drew Holiday and Derek White, which most of their team is with Anthony Black and all of them. They're pretty much the same mold.
Yeah, they're all in the same kind of mold. Yeah,
you need a guard who's going to sit there and just give you buckets, who's going to do this, that, and the third, because they have to.
Opens up.
Yeah, they have to open up the floor more and do something like that. So that's the reason why this isn't a foolproof method for the Magics, because you have to either develop your three-point shot if you're Franz and Paolo, or go ahead as a front office and go get that guard.
Yep. And it's tough for them as well because Paolo was fantastic this entire season, this entire series. But you can't just be fantastic and have, in my opinion, you're sacrificing offense for defense, which is fine if you can stop the other team from outscoring you. The Celtics are built to outscore you. That's just how they've built their team. They built their team to outscore you. They're either going to 3 you to death, or they're going to figure it out, slow it down, and half court you to death, and get their guys into the spots that they want them in. Jaylen Brown, he's going to hit you with the mid ranges. You got Jason Tatum that's going to do the step backs that he could get to the mid range. He could get to the cup. That's their game.
And Porzingis.
Right, and then you got a whole bunch of role players that could either knock down a shot or they could get to their own spot. Yeah, so that's if the Magic want to get to that level, they have to figure that out. And I agree with you in going to get that point guard, only because that point guard is going to open up the floor for them. If you get somebody of a Kyrie ilk, I don't know. Offhand, I don't know the point guards that are coming up on pages.
Who's coming off, but like I know what you're saying. You need a creator.
All right, I'll charge it. Don't do that to her. All right, I'll charge you. Go ahead. Matter of fact, you could go in my room with it, and you could charge it in my room. But yeah, I think that once they get that point guard that could really truly open up the floor, then they could be their own team. You know, they could play their own brand of basketball. Yep. And I don't think Paolo really needs to develop more of a 3-point. I think that he needs to continue to develop his mid-range, his ISO on the block, and scoring through contact. Yeah. I think Franz is the one that needs to work on his 3 and get his 3 up, because it frees Paolo up. You know what I'm saying? And Paolo excels on the block. He excels in the mid-range. You want to free him up. So if you have a viable point guard that could facilitate, that could break down the defense, that could get to the cup at will, that could create his own shot, you're opening up the floor, giving Franz the ability to do a lot more. And that's what you want. I want Franz to be able to do a lot more, because Paolo is your superstar.
Yeah.
He's going to get his. I need my role players. I need my number 2. I need my number 2 to be my number 2. And in this series, at times, Franz looked like the number 3, looked like the number 4. And it's not because he wasn't scoring at the same clip as Paolo. It's because of what are you doing around Paolo that's helping him, you know, get his looks.
Yeah.
They're not scaring teams right now. You know, teams know that, look, we can outscore them. Yeah, they got a really good defense. They have a top 5 defense. That doesn't mean anything if they can't score.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's just where they're at right now.
You hear that, Orlando? Work on your half court. Franz, work on your 3-point shooter. Paolo, work on your dominance.
And Orlando, get a point guard.
Gotta get
draft a point guard. I don't care, man. Do something.
Man.
Do something.
Yeah. So now we talked about the losers. Let's talk about this.
Let's talk about the winners. Knicks and Celtics, man. I think, man, this is tough. I want to be.
You can't.
Part of me wants to be realistic. Part of me wants to be realistic, but part of me wants to be a Knicks fan. Part of me wants to be like, nah, Knicks in 5. Knicks in 5, man. That part of me wants to do that, man.
It got a better rank.
Jason Tatum, spank him, steak and mac and cheese and Knicks in 5. I don't know, man. Look, I really want to be. I'm gonna be transparent. I'm gonna be honest. This is where I'm at right now. My father texted me after we won the series.
Shout out to the dads out there.
Yeah, shout out to my dad and my father and my cousin Darren. They text me, right? And I'm gonna read. I said, boy. Oh, I said, you know, they were saying, you know, we're on to the next round. I said Jalen Brunson. They said, yeah, defense. And I was like, had to overcome dumb fouls and turnovers, but we advanced, which is true because we did. There was a lot. The fourth quarter was is wild. And then I said, we can't play like this against Boston. My cousin goes, Boston isn't as physical as Detroit is. I said, don't need to be physical when you have a top 3 defense and the best duo in the league. They do. Boston has one of the top 3 defenses in the league, and they have one of the best duos in the league in Tatum and Brown, period.
Right.
Now we had turnovers, we had ticky-tack fouls, and we will be the undoing against Boston. Us. Knicks. Now, Tibbs, I really hope you get this clip. I hope somebody sends you this in your team. We can't play like this. You can't play the starters 40 minutes. You're going to have to dig deep into the bench, figure it out, because we've lost against Boston. We've been against Boston. Boston has had our number. We blew them out first game of the season, and then we got smacked every game after that.
Mm-hmm.
We know what Boston is.
The last one was OT.
We still lost. Still lost. Still lost. A loss is a loss, man. Look, we got to get to that point where we're not doing the dumb stuff.
Yeah.
There was a whole bunch of turnovers and about 6 minutes of being on the floor and not hitting one shot. We're not making it easier for ourselves. And we can't rely on our defense and the defensive greatness of what I feel is the best defensive duo in the league in OG and Bridges. We don't have the best offensive duo in the league in Tatum and Brown. They're going to get their shots
all this season, bro.
Huh?
So I don't think y'all beat them at all this season.
That's what I just said. We haven't beaten them. I think we beat them. We smoked them last year.
I think
we smoked them last year. First game of the season.
Yeah. That's exactly. Y'all beat them by 9 points.
Yeah, this year we didn't beat them not once.
Oh, I thought you said this year. That's what I'm saying. Hey, you said you beat them in the first game.
Oh yeah. I should have been. I should have specified. Yeah. But we're not going to be able to beat this team the way that we're playing, and it sucks. It sucks.
No, I mean, keep it a stack. Come on, bro. We've seen the stats. The Knicks are notoriously trash when they play against a top 5 team. Notorious trash men. The garbage men. Out here is WDs are garbage. I don't know who your garbage services is out there. But if there was a team of garbage men when it came to the 5s, then top 5, the Knicks would have the starting 5. Their starting 5 would be there. Because anytime they go against any elite teams, you just seen what happened. Y'all beat Detroit, yes. But Detroit ain't a top 5 team. They're not Boston. I'm not saying it's gonna be a sweep because come on, this is at the end of the day. Now you got a whole series against a team. You're gonna get a win. But man, listen. And the Celtics kind of banged up, so y'all got a better chance. And
we got a good chance.
You know what I mean? Yeah, you bang with the noise. Yeah, you could probably hurt them just a little bit more, get you a win or something. But I definitely got the Celtics taking it. I'm sorry, bro. I'm
not mad at you.
You know, as a former Knick alumni with you guys, I still got love right here. Love is always for the Knicks.
I'm not mad at you, man.
I couldn't be in that toxic relationship for any longer. And I love them. Cool. Yeah. But you know, I just like basketball. I like teams. You know what I mean? So it's just gonna be a tough series, bro. Y'all gonna lose. The most I could see is 6 games if something strings y'all way, but I really see a 5. I don't see a sweep. I see y'all getting 1.
We're not getting swept. We're not getting
swept.
I know.
I don't even think we're gonna lose this series.
I don't want to say because I'm not trying to put it in the atmosphere. It's still my team at the end of the day. So I'm not gonna say we're gonna lose. I say we're gonna take it 7 games.
Nice.
If we do and don't, hey man, it's up to the basketball gods.
It is.
I think we could take it 7 games, and that's where I'm at right now. I'm standing on it. It's my team. I'm not gonna say we lose.
The thing about it is just the fact that I don't see any answers for this. It's just like you went ahead and got OG, Mikal Bridges, and you say, yeah, we got 2 people who could compete with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. And throughout the year, them boys wasn't competing with nobody. Everybody was giving them buckets. That's the crazy part. And it's just like, guys, I know y'all went to your own teams. Y'all did what y'all had to do and y'all became scorers. So defense kind of fell out the waistline. But now you're here with the Knicks and we need you to turn back into the defenders. That's what I need from you. I don't need you to give us 30 points each. I need you to stop somebody for giving us 30. Now you want to give us, you want to get 30. Now you're part of the 30-30 club because you're getting 30, but you're giving up 30. We don't need that.
I hear you.
Cat, you got Cat as the center. Oh, that's barbecue chicken.
I hear you, bro. Look, man. I think we match up well against the Celtics. It's just a matter of I think that they have a better bench. And they have better role players. That's just what it really comes down to.
That's really
what it comes down to.
You telling Tibbs to dig on that bench. Ain't no digging.
Ain't no digging.
He don't. You know, you got to search for gold and stuff. Ain't no searching for gold. You see the gold in your starting lineup, and that's it.
That's it. We're very top heavy, so it's gonna be tough, man. So I'm glad we got a little couple of days of rest. I'm glad Boston and New York it's a short trip. It's not a cross country type vibe. But it just is what it is, man. I'm hoping for 7 games. That's what my hope is. I'm hoping that we could pull out this series. But realistically looking, a realistic me would have Boston in 6. A realistic me. The Knicks in me is not giving the Celtics the win because, of course, as a Knicks fan, I can never ride for the Celtics. Although Tatum and Brown, my guys, I'm always gonna ride for them. But at the team, can't do it. Yeah. So but yeah, I'm hoping we could win in 7. That's my hope. I'm hoping we could. Yeah. I want it to be a competitive series. That's what I'm hoping for.
We still talk about some true winners.
Yeah. So Thunder is still waiting their opponent in the Clippers and
Nuggets.
I don't really have much to say about the Thunder. I mean, it was a good sweep. We all knew it was gonna happen. Grizzlies gave them one good game and they still lose.
Yeah, then especially the fact that Ja got hurt. Like after that, it was
once Ja got hurt, it was
Aaron Jackson.
It was crazy because when Ja got hurt, that was their best game.
Yeah,
that's when it was competitive.
Yeah, but you got to think about it too. At the end of the day, they've been playing all season without Ja. So it's like Ja's a superpower in his own right, where it's like, yo, he comes out there and he gives you excitement, he gives you good plays, things like that. But then you got to think about it on the other end. Memphis is so used to playing without Ja that they have a system. So it's like, oh, Ja went down, we know what we're doing. And they play within that system.
Yeah.
It's just like how certain players say that they're a system of their own. Ja's his own system.
Yeah.
And the team has their own team system where he's not out there. So
it is tough, man.
Yeah. So
a sweep is a sweep, man. It sucks.
It is because you just don't get to see basketball, a real good detriment of basketball, a good, analysis piece. Because just like
because that series didn't even look like a series, bro. It looked like
and the worst part. The worst part was the fact that the game one. This is how I knew it was bad, because game one, SGA played like trash.
Yeah,
and they was
still
like
blew
30.
them out. Yeah,
I'm like, oh, okay, cool story, bro. GG's. So we really waiting on their next opponent, which between the Clippers and the Nuggets.
Clippers and Nuggets. But like we were saying before, I think both teams match up well against the Thunder.
Fantastic.
So I think it'll definitely be a way better series. It'll be a harder series for Thunder. But I mean, Thunder they're still one of the best teams in the league, man.
Who do you think will be the toughest series? Clippers or the Nuggets versus them for Thunder?
I think the Clippers would be the tougher series because of the threat of Kawhi and Harden.
I think
the Nuggets don't have that threat of. They got Jokic, but they don't have a dual threat of two people that can attack you from all three levels.
Let's not forget about Norman Powell, because we had our Norman Powell game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not forgetting him, but my main focus is on
buckets. But yeah,
my main focus would still be on the two superstars on that team, and I mean, they can literally work the floor all three levels.
Yeah.
So the Nuggets don't have that, you know what I'm saying? And then, like you were saying with Norman Powell, they don't have that third guy that can go and do the three levels too, because Norman Powell it's no drop off as far as scoring from Kawhi, Harden, and then I think Zubac has really he's come into his own. He's grown up on the Clippers, and he became a man.
He's
playing big boy. He's playing big boy center. So
yeah,
but I think that the Clippers would be the tougher challenge.
Yeah, I hate to agree with you, but I'm with the Clippers. Because I think the Clippers is going to be a better challenge. And for me, I was going to sit here and say the same thing, Zubac, because Zubac can't come into his own.
Yeah, and
giving people troubles, especially with his relationship with James Harden in that pick and roll.
Deadly.
They moving fantastic.
Yeah,
it's just like, all right, cool. As a team, I think the Thunders have a full capable roster of defending everywhere. Like if we gotta adjust to that, we could adjust to that. But we know Kawhi and James Harden, they've been steady all year. We clown James Harden for saying he's his own system. He's been out there being a system. Kawhi Leonard has come in clutch with a fantastic 40-point game with only missing 3 shots. Norman Powell, he's just going to come out there and light somebody up any given night. It don't matter who it is. And then Zubac, like I said, Zubac and James Harden together, come on, bro. And then I think it would be a crazier matchup for the Thunders, because I think the Nuggets, it's just, I always say, it's just too much weaknesses in between.
Yeah.
All of the good stuff that they got, it's just too much weaknesses in between. You got Jamal Murray, who shows up every once in a while.
No.
And then it's just like, come on. The only steady people on there is Aaron Gordon and Jokic. Or
Yeah, because Murray's gonna give you a game or two, but it's the Thunder is they're so imposing on both ends of the floor. So it's tough. But I mean, look, I mean, if we're talking about who could win against the Thunder, I mean, my money would be on the Clippers. And on top of that, I think that the Clippers have a vast amount of more experience. Kawhi is a former champion. James Harden's been to the Western Conference Finals so many times. They just got a wealth of knowledge. Ty Lue's a finals winning coach. So it's gonna be, the Clippers are definitely the tougher team, and that's who I want to see the Thunder play against.
On to the next one.
Oh, what they said? Ant-Man, Batman, that man. Lakers in 5.
You know, I got one. I got a good one before you get into yours, man. I got a good one. You know what they said?
What?
They said LeBron tried, Luka cried, Shannon lied, T-Wolves in 5.
Bars.
Oh my God,
Bars. Nah, man, shout out to Ant, man. Shout out to Ant. You know, Ant's one of my favorite players in the league right now. Shout out to JR, man. Shout out to Jules. Shout out to Julius Randle, man. Yeah, he's finally playing complimentary basketball. He's finally realized that he can be a devastating 2 or 3. He's finally figured that out. And shout out to Rudy. Shout out to Rudy for finally realizing that he's 7'4" and he could just dunk on people. Like, who would have thought that it took playing against the smaller Lakers for you to realize that you're 7'4" and you could just dunk on people, get the rebound and just dunk. Like, shout out to Rudy. Rudy, I think he had almost 30 in game 5. I mean, it's insane.
Yeah,
just for you to figure out
people, like, come on.
I'm taller than everybody. You know what? Let me try this. Let me try to get the rebound and just dunk on somebody. Let me just try it out.
Yeah.
But nah, shout out to the Wolves. Lakers, we've been saying it since they won in the bubble. They're not gonna win. Not with the brand of basketball that they're putting around LeBron in La La Land. It's just not gonna happen. Getting Luka, I don't know whose soul you sold to get one of the best players in the league, but you gave up too much. Give up way too much and didn't get back anything in return. And yeah, even though the trade, it was a bad trade on both sides because they really didn't give up a lot. But y'all gave up AD. Y'all gave up a big who can score at all 3 levels and defend. One of the best defensive bigs in the league. Yeah. So, nah, I don't see the Lakers. It's going to take for LeBron to retire, for them to recoup all of their assets and to build the team fully around Luka for them to actually start winning.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. LeBron got to come off the book so they could really build this team and this roster around Luka. They're not going to win. And this series also showed me why I think that the Timberwolves have taken that next step too. And maybe getting rid of Cat was the same as what was it last year when not last year, but what was it the year before when they got Kyrie, when the Mavs got Kyrie? Yeah, so you see what another superstar that could kind of elevate you can do, but you also need the right pieces around you. The Wolves didn't lose a lot in that trade. Matter of fact, I think that the Wolves won that trade with the Knicks, in my opinion. You know, they got Dante. Dante was fantastic throughout this entire series. They got guys that could come in and defend. They're probably one of the scariest teams, like, that nobody's talking about, that can really make some noise going forward in these playoffs.
Yeah, but I'm with you. To me, I don't think of win. I think both teams are fantastic. And like we said, I think it's just that Dante piece. That was the only thing that we all was like, losing him was tough, but you had to do it. But I think, like you said, it was a win-win trade. Both teams got what they needed. The Timberwolves needed more playmaking somewhere out there. and Julius Randle, like we said, becoming the second or third option, because this was the most infuriating thing about him when he was a Knick, was just like, all right, Randle, we understand you became an all-star.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you are to us, an all-star. And you want to transcend into being that player at an all-star caliber and being that superstar around the league to everybody. But it's just like, yo, we have other players who's doing fantastic. We just need you to play your role. That's it.
Yep.
That's all we need you to do. We don't need you to do anything extra.
And how many all-stars, how many role players get all-star nods?
Bruh.
Klay Thompson. I mean, I could go down a list of a whole bunch of role players that get all-star nods. He could be an all-star. You just got to be that second, third option. And he's a fantastic, he's devastating two option next to Ant.
Fantastic. And it's just like, the thing about it is his threat brings in so much other people. He goes out there, he plays the game right. They go ahead and win. That's it. You can still get your shots up, because we even seen in the press that Ant go ahead and say, yeah, we need him to shoot this many shots.
Yep.
We need him to do
you
this.
Got your superstar saying that means he's putting confidence into his number two. Look, you're my Robin. I need you to go out there and be Robin and not be afraid.
Don't be afraid. Just do your thing. We here. I don't give a damn. And it's just like, go ahead and do that, my boy. Go ahead.
That's what he did. Because game 5, in my opinion, game 5 was all Randle and Gobert.
Ant
really didn't do too much. He had a couple of clutch shots, but that's what you expect out of your superstar. And he played defense. Ant willing to step up and defend the best player, even though you got a better defender and what's his name? What's that 3?
Oh, McDaniels.
McDaniels, yeah. You have a better defender in McDaniels. McDaniels is a premier 3-and-D player. But Luka's like, nah. I mean, Luka. Ant's like, nah, I want Luka.
Yeah, I want him. I got him.
Luka's on the bench. I want LeBron. And he's going after these guys, and you got to love it from your superstar. And when you see your superstar doing that, that makes the other guys behind you play harder.
For real.
That means your number one defender is like, oh, I could have the night off. I'm chasing around whoever's trying to screen to get Ant off so I could get back on. You know what I'm saying? That's what you want. Yeah, it was a good series until it wasn't.
Yeah.
But if you want any team to go against the Wolves right now, out of Thunder and Warriors and Rockets, who's the more scarier? Who's the more scarier?
The scarier team? Just because of the experience, they're gonna put these guys in different situations that it's just like they're not comfortable with. It's gonna be the Warriors. But if we want a fantastic series that's gonna run through and just be like back and forth and just absolute drama,
it would be the Rockets.
Yes, because it's like Dylan Brooks out there talking shit to Anthony Edwards,
Amen Thompson, and Randle.
Yes, it's gonna be stuff like that. It's just gonna be like, wow, I need to see that. But you know, as a Warriors fan, I want to see the Warrior make it there. And I think execution-wise, playing against each other, it's gonna be tough because now he still falls into the fact that, if they play Rudy Gobert the way they played him and he actually could catch the ball, and that's the one thing I was seeing him more shocked about. He was making
catch the ball on the block.
Yes, because even like last series, there was one time where they just passed the ball to him out of bounds, just for him to inbound the ball, and he bobbled the ball. I was like, "Well, you really don't have any hands." And then Julius Randle knocked the ball out, and Rudy Gobert just grabbed it one hand real quick, pulled it back, and went up for a dunk. I'm just like, "Who is this guy?"
Yeah,
so if Rudy's gonna play like that.
Yeah,
it's gonna be real tough for the Warriors. Even though we got people quitting polls, we got bodies to throw at him. But it's just like, yo, at the end of the day, we got Looney. We'll be all right. But it's just that's not the way that the Warriors have been playing. So it's just like, but you know, the way they play, just going to keep them at.
I think the Warriors would be the scarier team because the Warriors have enough firepower to make Gobert non-existent.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to do switches. They're going to try to do what they can to get Gobert on Curry. Mm-hmm. And we all know what Curry does in ISO against Gobert.
Yeah.
So it's
going to be tough. We always talk about that Gobert and ISO thing. This series
showed that he can defend
isolation. Yeah, he was fantastic at isolation.
But we're talking about him doing isolation against bigger guys because it's not like the Lakers. I know I say that they're small. They're not really small. I mean, the smallest guys like what 6'5", 6'6". So they just play positionless ball and they don't have a true center. They don't have a true big. I mean, the biggest guy they didn't even want to play Jackson Hayes. They didn't really want to play him.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day,
that was kind of bad too because Jackson Hayes, like, it's tough to say, but Jackson Hayes was the guy who was actually slowing down Rudy.
Yeah.
In a way, and it's just like, damn, y'all ain't even let him go out there and get his. Because at least he was getting a body on Rudy. Rudy was just running to the basket, doing it as he pleased this entire series. After that, and it's just like, come on, guys, we need somebody who's gonna box out. I understand what the analytics was saying, this, that, and the third, but it's just like, come on, bro. You needed more. You needed more size out there, and that's what showed.
Yeah. And I think that the Warriors could give him that size. You know what I'm saying?
Pause.
Pause. That was crazy. I feel like they can. I feel like they can do that, but they can also spread the floor and not shrink it the way that the Lakers did. You know, the Lakers, the floor kind of shrunk a little bit, and then when it did shrink, it kind of worked to their advantage because you know they had guys sitting on the block behind Gobert, so the easier passes, the lobs and stuff like that. But that's not always that. Obviously, it didn't work throughout the entire series. You know, it worked. It's gonna work a couple of plays, but it's not going to work for an entire series. I think that the Warriors give them more of that threat because they're not always going to be cut into the basket. A lot of their actions and motions come at the top. They come at the top of the key. So you're not really too worried about back doors, but those back doors from the Warriors hurt more because you're so focused on what's going on in front of you. So, and then I think that the Rockets would give them a more exciting series because of the guys that you named, the Dillon Brooks, the Amen Thompson, but in my opinion, it's Sengun. Sengun is baby Joker, and I'm going to die on this hill. I'm going to sing his praises as much as I can. Sengun is a baby Joker. He is coming into his own. These playoffs have shown that he can be your number one. You just don't want him to be your number one. You want him to be your number two.
Facts. Because when Jalen Green's going off, and Sengun doing what he do, it's like,
these guys and they're young. They're all together. They're going. It's going to be a feisty thing. A lot of talk and a lot of drawing. And that's what you want. You want it to be exciting.
It creates the future.
Yeah, you know, and I like it.
That's what creates the future, bro.
But if I'm being biased, I do want the Warriors to because I mean, how many more playoffs am I gonna get to see Curry? You know what I'm saying? So it's like
all the OGs going in the first round.
That's true because he's never been bounced out of the first round ever.
No, I'm just saying all the OGs would be out if the Warriors lose this one, all the OGs out. You got Kevin Durant, you got LeBron James. You got Curry out. It's absolutely starting a new era of basketball this year if this happens.
Yeah, but I'm hoping it doesn't. Curry, I want his record of not being first round exit to stay intact.
I mean,
but I mean, it could go either.
He got bounced in play in, so you know that's still on it.
I mean, but they don't technically
Yeah, I know they don't count that one.
They don't
but
count it.
We're talking about a new era.
Pop
not done. I'm not going anywhere. That's what Pop said.
But we knew this. Didn't we talk about this a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah.
We knew this.
I just put this here because I just wanted to give a shout out to Pops. You know what I mean?
Man. Yo, shout out to Pop, man. I hope his health continues to get better and that he's able to stay on that sideline. But come on, man. Pop is one of, if not the one of, he has to be one of the best coaches in NBA history, period.
Best coaches, one of the best talent scouts as well, trusting his scouting team and actually being like, you know what? I'll work with y'all. I'll make it work going overseas, creating a new era of basketball with the international players in his own right. And now he is team, what is it? It's team something. I don't know. Team president.
They about to draft old boy from Duke.
Imagine that would be nonsense. But
he's running the league, man. Crazy.
He is now team. Yeah, he is now team president.
And they, what's the point guard they got? The
Castle, rookie of the year, Stephon Castle. Don't forget his name.
They the future.
Yeah,
that's why Pop don't want to leave. They the future.
So it's like, all right, team president now. Give the coaching reins over. That's too much stress on him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like I just wanted to say congratulations. And man,
is old girl taking over?
Oh no, I don't think so. I don't know who was the interim coach. It wasn't what's his face. It wasn't
Becky Harmon.
Something like that.
Yeah,
let me see. Mitch.
That'll make her the first. Because the only coaches behind him was you had
it's Mitch Johnson.
Okay. Because the other coach that's behind him too was Tim Duncan.
Yeah, I don't think Tim Duncan was on his coaches there right here. I don't know. Yeah, Johnson takes over. Yeah, Pop's done coaching. Johnson takes over. Yeah, it's Johnson. Yeah. Well,
Pop is gonna do fantastic in the front office, though. I mean, he's a mainstay. Pop
it's just like we gotta think about it. When you have a coach that's there who has such an impact on the team, he has an impact on the entire organization. So it's not like that. Yeah. It's not like that team president never went to Pop and said, "Yo, we're gonna sit down." This ain't Dallas. We ain't gonna just go over the coach's head. We're gonna talk to Pop and be like, "Yo, this is what we want to do. Do you think we should?" Pop say no. They're like, "All right, we'll really reconsider and think about if this is the right move." Pop said, "No, y'all, we ain't doing it." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's it, man. That's it. That's the end of our show, man. I'm gonna take y'all out. Y'all already know the vibes, man. Like, share, sub, and all the above. Your boys is signing out, man. Shout out to all the new cats. This is a new era of basketball. Houston, y'all might do it and turn it over, or y'all gonna have to send him to Ant-Man, because Ant is the OG killer. So if the Warriors make it, who knows? T-Wolves and fives? We'll never know.
Yeah, I'm back, straight facts, in my bag, straight facts, came to bring the hits, nigga, straight facts, tryna hit the falls list, trigger, facts, straight, yeah, I'm back, straight facts, in my bag, straight facts, came to bring the hits.